What I love about comics is you're able to explore ideas that you don't need a $1 billion budget to explore. You're limited by your imagination, your artistic talent.
Despite being a bona fide geek, I didn't actually start reading comic books until just a few years ago, and I found it was incredibly confusing. I didn't know which Spider-Man arc to start with, or what an issue was versus a volume, and it can be even more daunting to walk into your very first comic book shop. So today we're going to do that together. I'm here at my local comic store, Anyone Comics, to talk to the owner and learn all about how to get into comic books. Demetrius has been selling comics for over 10 years, and 2 years ago, he decided to open Anyone Comics in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. He explained to me that the first thing someone should learn about comic books is the basic terminology, like what an issue is.
There's two kinds of issues. One is a comic issue, like a single issue, a chapter of maybe a bigger story. Another issue is when you're very anal retentive about your corners of your. It's a different kind of issue. Sorry.
Okay, so Demetrius still has some work to do on his stand-up routine. But he's right. A chapter is the perfect way to think of an issue. Issues usually come out once a month, and eventually they're packaged together into volumes. One volume usually bundles around 5 issues, which makes it the best way to jump into a storyline.
You get these bundles that will look good on your library and bookshelf and stuff, and get you caught up in a much more quicker, efficient manner.
Speaking of getting caught up, don't do what I did and try to start reading Spider-Man at the quote-unquote beginning. That's the wrong way to think about reading comic books.
You shouldn't feel like you need to read comics from the beginning. It's the writer's responsibility to give you the information you need. If that compulsion were true, then I would need to know you from the beginning of your life to present day.
Right.
But we're meeting each other in the middle of our lives. And so these characters who we get monthly comics from, or weekly comics in some cases, we're getting to know them. We're getting to understand them at that point in their life.
All right, now that you know the basic terminology and you're not going to try and read every Black Panther since 1973, hopefully you're ready to pick up your first comic. How much is that going to cost you?
I know there's some free databases for public domain ones, and obviously free illegal ones and stuff.
But support the artist.
yeah, try to support the artist.
Supporting the artist isn't going to cost you that much. A single issue usually goes for less than $5, and a volume will run you anywhere from $15 to $20. If you keep an eye out for sales, it's pretty easy to find volumes under $10.
Yeah, the last comic that blew me away was 100 Bullets.
A guide to reading comic books wouldn't be complete without some recommendations, and Demetrius showed me all types of comics from every genre imaginable. If you don't think there's a comic book out there for you, you're wrong. There are comics that are political.
So Watchmen redefined comics in that it introduced superheroes into a world where they do have a political influence.
Comics about gender and race.
It's called Black. The premise is, what if black people were the only people who get superpowers? Obviously, they're discriminated much further against.
Comics about aliens living mundane lives.
This is my favorite book. Basically, the Roswell alien had landed on Earth years ago, and now he's a resident of a small town where he solves very small-scale crimes.
And comics about, well, I'm not sure how to describe this next one.
Sex criminals. A couple finds out that when they orgasm, they freeze time, so they do what comes naturally and start robbing banks.
That's amazing. That
Yeah.
was on my list now.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you know the basics and you got some excellent recommendations. So get out there and read some comics. Thanks for watching.